if you like to attract and retain and probably develop talent, it's important that you offer benefits. However, especially after the largest expos and fairs, which just recently finished in Europe, I saw quite shocking amount of people who still undervalue, either deliberately or not deliberately, or even completely misunderstand the concept of what actually are employee benefits. And that's why we're talking about where is the debate right now, where should it be, and how can you offer proper and right benefits. As we all know, the fight for talent is ongoing, and in most industries, it's getting worse by the minute. We have a lack of talent, but we also have a lack of workers. There are simply not enough people there. So it is blindingly obvious benefits are not a nice to have position. There is no discussion about if you should offer benefits. The only question is which benefits you are going to offer. And unfortunately, I often see in job ads and in discussions and interviews that you offer benefits that actually are no benefits because they can be expected anyway. So what we're going to talk about, and this has to be very practical, I'm going to talk about 15 different aspects that you can implement either immediately or in the near future. At least the vast majority of them you can implement, where you say, this is a benefit for my employees. And these are straightforward benefits. I will also talk about what are the usual traps? Which are aspects where you think it is a benefit, but it's not? So let's go and let's start. Number one, a very good salary. And I'm getting straight into this for a reason. No, it's not okay to say you offer a great salary later, or when they've proven they're worth their salt, or when they attracted 5 clients, or when they closed the first business, or when X, Y, Z. Whatever you say, when you say we pay better later, most people will say, perfect, then I start later. See you then. When you do not offer a good salary in today's times where we have high inflation, high cost of living, then people will simply go somewhere else which pays the bills, even when they sign up with you for a short amount of time. As soon as anyone offers them only a tiny bit of money more, they will be gone in an instant. And that's not what you want. So aspect number one, a very good salary. And by the way, you need salary bands in your organization. I know the discussion that people say, well, we can't pay more because then we pay the new people more than what existing people already earn. Well, that's a problem you created by yourself by not giving enough salary raises in the past. And now you have to face the problem after getting away with it for decades. So you have to look into what are the salary bands, design them, what are the criteria you have there, and how can people develop within each salary band. And of course, that means some people will now get a significant raise to match them with other people who are now just entering the organization. Aspect number one, salary. Number two, any kind of pension plan. In many countries, it's obligatory to have a state pension plan, but the trust in them is low. So when you offer something in the long run, it's a good benefit. However, it is in the long run, it doesn't pay the bill right now. Number three is you offer paid vacation above the norm, above the standard. And when you say, hey, we offer 20, 22, 25 days, or even 28, 28, 30 maybe, in the German-speaking area, 30 is pretty much the standard already. So you really have to look into what is above the standard in your industry. Just because you offer 2 days more than before, when you're still below the standard, it is still not a benefit. Aspect number four, flexibility at work. And that's the full package. So work from home, that people don't have to show up at the office. Work from anywhere. People can work from different countries. And I know that sometimes they say, yes, but it's an issue when they stay longer for 90 days in a certain country. This is an excuse which rarely ever becomes relevant. I have not met any employees yet who said, I like to be somewhere else for the whole amount of time, because then you have to talk about social securities that need to be paid and etc. Most people say, I'd like to work 2 weeks from here or 6 weeks from there. Hitting the 91 days or more is a very rare occasion. So please do not go for the excuse that actually is not a valid part of the discussion, because most people will not stay away that long. Sabbaticals are a great aspect when people stay with you for a certain amount of time that they can take paid time off. There are different models in place, and you can choose which one you want to offer. And of course, if you give people time off for doing charitable work, either if it's fundraising or if it's working in a football club or anything else they like to do, when they do charitable work and you tell them a part of your hours per week can go into this, this will be much appreciated. Aspect number five is professional development. And professional means what it says, professional. Professional is not some person with a PowerPoint standing in a badly lit room telling people, oh, we have this standard PowerPoint from corporation, which I'm now going to talk about. Professional means you have professionally trained people who know how to deliver content, who are expert on the matter, do not only read out PowerPoints, full and straightforward educational professionals with the right amount of expertise and experience. And yes, they cost money. And no, you can't get away with a cheap solution saying, oh, we have an online course here that you can do during a lunch break. Professional development is only professional when you use professionals. Who could have thought? How very surprising. Aspect number 6 are stock options. I know this is only available for stock exchange listed companies, so we're going to go through that quite quickly. Offer it to people with certain conditions, under certain conditions, and tell them what the conditions are. Don't be vague about this. Aspect number 7, childcare and family care. So when you, for example, have a kindergarten where you take care of their children, or you, for example, pay for their kindergarten when they work for you, this will be much appreciated, because a big issue often is, where do I leave my children when I have to go to work? And you can solve this, which definitely will be a huge benefit for anyone working for you. Number 8 is employee assistance programs or so-called wellness plans. Is there anything that you can do for your employees that actually makes them feel better physically or mentally? Is there anything that you offer from any kind of medical service to any kind of membership? Think about getting partnerships here, because it will help people. And by the way, it's only help when you pay for it. Having a list of telephone numbers where people still have to pay privately is not help. Aspect number 9, transportation benefits. You pay for their bus or train tickets or both. Number 10, food benefits. They become the standard more or less in the near future. If you pay a share of the full amount of food, it's nice. It's not that great as it was back in the days, but it's still a benefit, but it is on the line of becoming sort of the standard. Number 11, that's especially interesting for performance-oriented people, and I always considered myself one of them. If you have some sort of bonus or performance bonus, but please be specific. Don't tell them, oh, if it's going well, there might be some money in there. Yeah, well, what does it mean to go well? When do I receive the bonus? Does anyone receive a bonus, or just the people who perform well? Be very specific. If you're not specific but vague, no one is going to believe you. Aspect number 12, pretty new, legal and financial services. Are there any financial help you offer in case of hardship, or, for example, any legal service in case of hardship, for example, when it comes to divorce? That benefit becomes more and more frequent because divorces are on the rise. Nearly every second marriage got divorced, and suddenly it becomes a benefit when you say, in this case, we can help you legally and financially. Number 13 is the dress code. The dress code is not a benefit in many industries, but in some. For example, when you work in banking, or when you work in certain cultures where it's very common to, for example, wear shirts at work, especially in the UK, when you have a more casual dress code, people will appreciate that. I, by myself, am a person who prefers to wear a t-shirt and a jacket over it. So offer a casual dress code. It will be much appreciated. Number 14 is profit sharing or even employee ownership. Do you offer any kind of share when the profit is good? If so, again, be specific. And number 15 are employee benefits, discounts, perks. Do you have any kind of partnerships that you want to mention where people get anything cheaper, from gym memberships to certain restaurants or certain supermarkets, certain pubs where you get something for free? Whatever it is, mention it to them because it is a tangible benefit. However, we, of course, now, after we had 15 straightforward benefits, and please go through that list and listen to it carefully and check what you can do. What are aspects that often are presented as if they were benefits, but they are not? So, for example, when you say paid parental leave or PTO in general, paid time off, people expect that they get paid to have time off. We're not in slavery anymore. It is shocking to see what's going on in the US. And even there, it becomes more and more common to have paid time off, or if you don't have that, a very much higher salary in return. Also, not a benefit is a recognition program. The Employee of the Month program is pretty much marketing for your organization. And if you get some sort of award which you can put in your cupboard, that doesn't pay the rent, not a benefit. And then here are my personal highlights. Nice colleagues. I mean, I hopefully can expect that anyway. Or flat hierarchies. When I read this in a job ad with 50% of anyone saying that, that's a straightforward lie. And also flat hierarchies also have a lot of disadvantages. When there is no hierarchy, it means I have to do a lot by myself because there is no structure that can catch on if needed. So it is not the hot take you think it is. And when you say that culture or values are benefits, I can expect a great culture. I can expect that my leaders have values that lead the organization to a positive future. That is a standard criteria of work and not a benefit. If you only want to make it worse, you can add, for example, free water or free coffee or a fruit basket. All of what can be expected anyway. And by the way, if you pay well, I can buy all of that by myself. So please don't tell me this is a benefit. It can be expected anyway. If you want to have any kind of professional guidance on this, either hire a feel-good manager or you get an external person that helps you. I'm happy to help you as well. What is really not relevant is the opinion of the management on this topic. If you think we don't need this, if you think you never had it when you started working, it is not a relevant point of the discussion. And unfortunately, often these are senior leaders who ruin excellent approaches, either by team leads or middle management, where people have very good ideas, but they simply get a no from senior executives. Your opinion in this case is not relevant because the shortage of talent is there. The shortage of workforce is there, and it will get worse in the future. You have to offer as much as you can. And when you're now not sure what actually is a benefit, there's a very simple test. It's called the reverse test. I give you an example. So let's say you offer a job ticket, which is the name for many of these. I pay for your transportation. So let's say you offer a transportation ticket. If you reverse that, you offer no transportation ticket. And that would be a real pity because it's nice to have a transportation ticket. That's a real benefit. So when you reverse it and say that's a pity, you have a real benefit. Let's say you offer work-life balance as a benefit, which is not a benefit, by the way. When you have a work-life balance and reverse it, it will mean you have no work-life balance, which is an embarrassment. So when you reverse it and you get to the conclusion it's an embarrassment, don't advertise with it. It's not a benefit. Don't mention it anywhere. It can be expected anyway. Only if you reverse the object you mention and you come to the conclusion, what a pity, then it's a real benefit and you can advertise it all over the place. And I wish you all the best getting the best talent with that approach in your organization, because when you offer real benefits, tangible benefits, transparent benefits, and honest benefits, people really do appreciate that, and they will come to your organization and happily work for you as long as they can. And of course, there's more on this. When you now have, probably you have a lot of questions about this, and many people have. The reason why I did this episode was due to the flood of messages since the expos and fairs where people had questions about any kind of benefit. What is a benefit? Is it one? Isn't it one? This is why this episode was created. So when you like to have a chat about this, just drop me an email, nb@nb-networks.com. I also put the email address in the show notes of this podcast. And of course, when you now say, hey, we need someone who is going to be a speaker at our conference or delivers a training or a coaching session, I'm happy to do that as well. However, we can only just chat about your aspects, nb@nb-networks.com, and then we take it from there. And the second aspect I always recommend is when you want to speak live to me. We have live sessions available every single month now. If you go to expert.nb-networks.com, I also put that in the show notes of this podcast. And then you will be able to chat to me live. But when you go to expert.nb-networks.com, you can register your email there. You only receive one email every Wednesday morning. It's free access to everything I publish, no paywall, nothing. It's 100% content, ad-free guarantee. And there you see the access and also the time and date when we're going to have the next live session. And I'm looking forward to seeing you there. expert.nb-networks.com. Also see it in the show notes of this podcast. But the most important aspect is the last one. Apply what you heard in this podcast, because only when you apply what you heard, you will see the positive aspects of what you want to see as a positive change in your organization. I'm happy to help you. Contact me anytime. And for the rest of this week, there's only one thing left for me to say. Thank you very much for your time.